In 1971, the Perron family moved into an old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. It was supposed to be a peaceful retreat for Roger and Carolyn Perron and their 5 daughters. But almost immediately it became clear. Something was wrong with the house. It started small. The broom would go missing, then show up in a completely different room. Dirt would appear in freshly cleaned corners of the kitchen. At first, they thought they were just settling in, that maybe the kids were playing tricks. But then things escalated. Doors would slam in the middle of the night. Footsteps echoed through the upstairs hallway, even when no one was there. The children started hearing whispers, low, murmuring voices calling their names from the darkness. One of the girls, Andrea, remembers waking up to find a shadowy figure standing at the edge of her bed. It didn't move. It didn't speak. It just stared. When she screamed, the figure disappeared, but the feeling of being watched never left. The air grew colder, especially in the parlor. Carolyn began waking up at exactly 5:15 a.m. every morning, no matter when she went to bed. She said the same smell always woke her, a foul stench like rotting meat. Then came the scratches. One morning, Carolyn was folding laundry when she suddenly screamed. Deep, fresh welts appeared across her back, 3 long scratches, as if from claws. No one else was in the room. That's when the family realized this wasn't just an old creaky house. It was something else. They tried to ignore it. They prayed. They saged. But the activity only grew worse. Furniture would shift on its own. Doors would lock from the inside. And worst of all, Carolyn began to change. She grew distant, tired, distracted. She would zone out for hours at a time, staring into corners and muttering under her breath. Her skin grew pale. She lost weight. Her children said she didn't seem like herself anymore. Eventually, she admitted to her husband that she felt something was trying to enter her, to take her over. That's when they called Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens were famous paranormal investigators known for tackling some of the darkest hauntings in America. When they arrived, Lorraine immediately sensed something ancient in the home, something that didn't want the family there. She identified a malevolent spirit tied to the land, a woman named Bathsheba Sherman. A local legend, Bathsheba was said to have been a practicing witch who lived in the home in the 1800s. She was accused of sacrificing her infant child in a ritual and cursing the land before she died. Lorraine believed Bathsheba had latched onto Carolyn, trying to possess her as a way to reclaim her territory. The Warrens performed a seance, not an exorcism, but it didn't go as planned. Carolyn began to convulse violently. She screamed in a voice that wasn't her own. She levitated in her chair, then was thrown across the room by an invisible force. Roger Perron was furious and demanded the Warrens leave. But the damage was done. Carolyn would never fully recover from that night. Even after the Warrens left, the family continued to experience low-level activity. They endured the haunting for nearly a decade before finally moving out in the early 1980s. But the house never forgot. Decades later, new owners reported similar phenomena. And in 2013, their story was immortalized in the film The Conjuring. But what the movie didn't show was the slow psychological unraveling, the growing dread, the sense of being hunted in your own home. To this day, Lorraine Warren swore it was one of the most disturbing cases she ever investigated. And the Perrons never stopped believing that something dark still lingers on that property. If you like this kind of true horror story, consider subscribing. We have more real-life hauntings coming soon. Because sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that actually happened.